gathered, there's not much left of the nation in a lot of countries. And Syria is one of them. There is virtually nothing left of civil life in Syria. Likewise in Afghanistan. Likewise in Iraq. To deal with three cities and countries where I follow continually, because I'm a member supporter of Médecins Sans Frontières. I'm a supporter of an Italian aid agency called Emergency, who are terrific. And I think I'm a supporter of pretty well everything else that's to do directly. Now, it's because of that that even when the daily press, the national press, forget getting much news from television, but when you don't get the news in the national press, which is virtually all the time when you're needing to know, I'm old, you're young, I can tell by your voice. You know, you can go online, the drop of a hat. I rely on Carlo. I don't know how to do this, to get what I need. But the point I'm arriving at is that, I don't know, forgive me, I may have an area of misunderstanding in me. I can't quite understand why you're so concerned about what are the implications for the nations left behind if we take refugees. I see it needs to be thought about, but it should have been thought about a long time ago, and it should be thought about now, before all the major cities were bombed into oblivion. And in that bombing into oblivion, Britain's taken part, America's taken part. I don't know about Canada. I don't know. I know, well, you know that and I don't. But, you know, I don't like to be indiscriminate in information. I feel it's very important, these days more than ever, to be quite sure one's saying how things are, as opposed to spreading generally not up-to-date information. It may well be so. I mean, pretty well every government that's got weapons and is longing to sell them is bombing these countries. We know that. It's terrifying. And I suppose because we haven't concentrated our attention on what about what's left behind, because we have to help these refugees. There is no future for those countries if we don't make sure that the refugees coming learn the language of the place that offers protection, gets jobs, maintains. I mean, one of the things I'll never forget, a wonderful singer in Bosnia, but he was famous all over Yugoslavia. His group were called Jabloko, Apple. Oh, they were so popular, so, well, they all decimated. And the leader of the group and his wife, Tanya, a fully trained nurse, almost to doctor level, working in the hospital in Sarajevo. Well, I suppose you can imagine what the hospital in Sarajevo was like in the middle of a siege that lasted something like 8 years. So they got refuge in England, but with all the restrictions that the English maintain, which is sort of, I'm sad and angry to say, fairly minimal. But his wife wasn't allowed to work. She had to have taken another series of exams through the British Medical Association to be allowed to work. Now, Britain needs nurses and needs doctors, treats them very badly and always has. But she couldn't, so they applied and came to Canada, and actually came to Toronto. And that's where I met them in 2004, again. But she died. She had cancer in the brain. So I'm just telling you this because if we don't concentrate on raising the level, both the quotas, I agree, but the level of support and protection and integration for the refugees, there will never be a nation for them to go to. They are the future, wherever they are.
Je vous remercie beaucoup d'avoir été ici. Merci infiniment, Vanessa redgrave. Merci, Carlo.